Hello, everybody. I'm Lisa Shield.
And I'm Benjamin Shield.
And this is Getting Inside the Right Male Mind. So, hi, babe.
Hi, sweetie.
Lovely meeting you here. Today, we are going to talk about making room in your life for a relationship.
Wonderful.
I like this. We just spent, probably about an hour just sitting and talking about what we wanted to say today. Yeah. And it was amazing how rich this topic is.
Yeah.
Really, and how important.
Because so many women, and we could be saying the same thing about a man, but today we're talking about for women to really create that space in their life for a relationship. And a lot of women have their lives, just wonderful lives. They have great careers, they have girlfriends, a support system, hobbies, extended time with extended family. And sometimes their life is so complete that a man doesn't know how to fit in or how to blend. And he may feel that he has to really give up his life and some of his freedoms to be part of her life.
Mm-hmm. And babe, talk about, because this is such a huge thing, and I want to digress into this and really kind of unravel it a bit. I want you to really speak from your heart and tell women what it means, what freedom means to a man, and what it means to give that up for a woman.
Well, for a man to get into a relationship, he has to know that not only is his life not going to be smaller, but it's going to be larger. That 1 + 1 = more than 2. And if he feels that a woman's life is so complete that he could just, like he's just the missing piece in it, then he's living someone else's dream, and that would be horrifying to most men.
Why? Why is that horrifying to a man?
Well, there has to be a reason to be in a relationship. It's not just something to check off the to-do list. So for a man to really want to be in a relationship, he wants to feel that his life is going to blend with a woman, that she's not so complete that she only needs him as a +1. A man needs to feel needed. And if a woman's life is so complete and she's got already this circle of friends that she confides with and full-time career, which is fine. We're not telling anyone to give up friends or career. But it is the desire for a woman to really want to blend her life with a man's life and not just have him fit in. Because if that's the case, he's just going to feel like an accessory, like a fashion accessory.
And so many women feel like men don't want to blend their lives with ours.
Yeah.
But a lot of it has to do with, I think, what you're saying from those, not all of those men are avoidant or afraid of intimacy or connection. I think what a lot of women don't want to look at is that maybe a man doesn't want to blend his life with yours, but you better look at why. What are you doing, or what is it about you or the life that you're offering that man that he's not interested in wanting to be a part of?
Yeah. And some men and women have developed such large personas that it's actually, it's attractive on a global stage,
right?
But it's repellent on an interpersonal stage.
Yeah. Well, there's no room for anything interpersonal.
Yeah.
I mean, I see some women in there, they're like rock stars in their lives. They've made themselves into these fabulous creatures, and I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that. I think it's wonderful. We should all be as fabulous as we can possibly be. But there's a largesse about some women, and we were talking about how they feel inaccessible.
Yeah. Yeah.
Talk about that, honey, because I think we think we're being wonderful, right? This is my personality. This is who I am, right? I'm an author. I'm a this. I'm a that. I'm a public speaker.
Yeah, I think that when women or men feel that way, it's more like they want to be admired for who they are, which is true. I mean, being in a relationship, that's an essential part, to admire and respect each other. But when it seems like it's a show, and you're just witnessing it, rather than really, having, using all of those life experiences and successes so that they could really be with another person and blend the lives, it's very different.
Wow, you were saying that, and I was thinking about, oddly enough, you sent me that article from the New York Times about redoing Funny Girl.
Right.
And as you were talking, I mean, that is such a great example of Omar Sharif couldn't live up, his character couldn't live up to Fanny Bryce. He was eclipsed by her.
Yeah, and he came into the relationship with a lot of personality, a lot of notoriety.
Right.
And,
he lost it.
Yeah, he lost it. He was just trailing her.
He was in her shadow.
Yeah.
Yeah. You had an experience like that, babe.
Well, my first marriage. And when we met, she was a out-of-work actress, maybe some bit parts.
Very pretty.
And very pretty and very nice, very kind. And she got a job that she was on for about 40 years on the top-rated soap opera. And her life became big, and I found that when she'd go off to do like a morning talk show in New York City, that I'd send 24 roses to her dressing room because I know there'd be at least 10 other people sending 12 roses. And after a while, it was hard to distinguish myself as her husband, And so that was the beginning of the end. I didn't, I completely support her career, or supported her career. But it interfered with us. And I think there's a way to keep the career, keep the successes in life, keep the circle of friends, all of those things, and have the desire, perhaps even the top priority of having relationship. Because if the priority is number 3 or 4, it's going to fail. It's going to fail.
Right.
Even if it holds together, it will be a failed relationship.
Wow. It's so funny. I think a lot of women really do think, oh, if I just meet the right guy, I would make room for, of course I would. But I think if they really were to step back and look at themselves, they're not meeting the right guy because they don't want to give up control.
Right. There could be a lot of right guys that they had met and felt like, how is this going to work? This person is so fabulous, and there's nothing wrong with being fabulous. I mean, that's great.
No, I'm fabulous.
But yes, you are. And we share that, and you share my attributes.
Absolutely.
But it's not like the Lisa Shields show.
No.
It's not like some big persona that you walk in and much of the room is already taken up.
You gave a brilliant analogy earlier about what it would feel like to you, if
Yeah.
what it feels like when you have to step into a woman, who has a large S about her, and you would have to step into her life.
Right. For me, it would feel like I'm stepping onto a moving sidewalk, like it's already in motion, and I'm just there to step onto that process,
Right.
and rather than two people walking hand in hand, so it's like a moving sidewalk that's going pretty quickly, and you have to step on and hold on tight.
Wow. Well, you dated a music writer,
Yeah.
and she had a ginormous life.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. But no, even though she wrote love songs and were very successful, there was just no room.
No room
Yeah.
at all.
Yeah. And also no desire. There's in the back of the mind, there's the desire. Like it's some thought,
Right.
But there's not the reality of this is what I want and I'm going to make it happen.
Whoa.
It's more like this is what I want and it will happen. It's a very different thing.
Replay that part of the podcast. That was just brilliant. And that's true for so many women. It's just in the back, like almost like an entitlement. Like I just know it's going to happen.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it's not happening.
Yeah.
They don't want, they don't really, because they think they're so fabulous, or they are so fabulous, but then they're not looking at why it's not happening.
Yeah. And then time goes by, and it's something we could never get back. And
No.
if and when we ever do find that right partner, we regret the time that we wasted, the time that the summers, the dinners, the vacations, the shared experiences that we could have had.
Look.
Cheryl or Cheryl Hunter?
Uh-oh. That was not supposed to happen, but it did. Edit that piece out. Yeah, we regret the time. I think that is one of the saddest things about being a human being, is that we aren't, many of us are not conscious of time. And we're not looking at what's not working in our lives. And here's the deal. I mean, if something's not working, it's up to you to fix it. Like, you have to stop and look and go, okay, I'm 45 or 55 or 75. I will talk to women who are in their late 60s, 70s. I even spoke to a woman yesterday or last week who was in her 80s. And they're so far away from really looking at this in their lives.
Yeah.
I mean, they have not stopped and said, oh my God, I'm going to miss out on the most beautiful thing there is to experience in this lifetime.
Yeah.
Love.
Yeah. And I know that you encourage women who are dating to, if it doesn't go past the first date or the second or even the third, to have the courage to ask the gentleman, how they saw her.
Yeah.
And sometimes the same attributes would come back, like I don't think there's room, or you've never asked me a question about me, or I just find you intimidating, because your life is so full, you're so accomplished.
Can we pause on that? Because I really want to unpack that. When a man says to a woman, you're intimidating, a lot of women spin that in their own minds, and they say, well, if he were a real man, he could handle me. But that's not what's going on at all.
No. I mean, you could take great men, great, strong, accomplished men, and if they're trying to blend their lives with a woman, and it just can't happen. You know, it's intimidating.
Right.
It's not that her accomplishments are greater than his, but it's just like, you know, it's intimidating because how do I do this? You know, I don't think I could do this. It's not going to work. And that's intimidating.
And emasculating. You don't feel like a man. And
Right.
why would you want to keep pushing on that door, right? It's like, it's funny. We have things that we criticize men for, but there's things that men, you know, like we think men are not emotionally available, but that men have just as many very legitimate things. Like with women, we really, our persona, our large, we can be bigger than life. And we think it's wonderful, but what we don't realize is it doesn't leave room for a man.
Yeah.
You know? And I think I had that attitude for a long time, and I was impenetrable because I had a big ego. You know, and it was really all, if I'm being honest, babe, it was ego. My ego got in the way, and no man wanted to deal with that much ego.
Right.
And believe me, you know my family. It was a big ego.
Right. You know, when a man comes home at the end of the day, and a woman could be working and coming home also, but what he's looking for is not fitting into someone's life and watching that show. He's looking forward to sitting on the couch with her and feeling needed. You know, like saying, can I, you know, the woman saying, can I put my head on your shoulder? Can I tell you about my day? Or, you know, tell me about your day. And having that, because in the 9-to-5 world, you know, they have a lot, they're around a lot of egos and a lot of, and they can't really express all the deepest emotions that occur, you know, the fear, the excitement, the you know, the disappointment, the
Oh my God.
you know, the sense of competition, the all of those things. So it's not till he comes home that he could ever unload, you know, and share.
Yeah.
And if someone is so big that he can't really get to her, you know, it's suffocating.
Yeah, I think, you know, what's such a hard thing for women is that we tell ourselves we're caring, and we tell ourselves we're open, and we want to hear your problems, and we want you to share all of that with us, and we do. But we don't see how we really don't make room. We're saying that, right? That we want that,
Yeah.
but we're not making room for it.
Yeah.
We're not.
Yeah.
We're not. And it's really sad because this, what you just shared, everything you just said, that's what we want you to bring to us. But then there's no, you know, you bring it. I think what's really painful for men is that you do bring it and there's no place for it. You can't even, there's no room for it a lot of the time.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's really sad.
Yeah.
I mean, that's like, if you think about it, that's heartbreaking.
Yeah. And it's I think all of what we're talking about is the reason that individuals don't and can't get into relationship. And if they do, the relationships can often fail. And we've seen relationships, and it could often end in bitterness.
Right.
And the bitterness, you ask, where's the bitterness coming from? And the bitterness is not being seen, not being heard, not feeling blended, feeling like I'm fitting into this person's life. Yeah.
Whoa, that was deep. Huh. Wow. Well, we want to be very clear. What we're what we're not saying here is that anybody should have to dumb herself down, you know, and play small.
Or give up friends, or
No.
or change career.
Not at all.
Yeah.
Not at it's not about that. But it is looking at where this becomes egoic and needy. A lot of, I can see, I'm just going to speak for myself, in the past where I was so needy with men, right? So needy and desperate for approval, for assurance. I mean, it was horrible. And there was no room for a man in all of that.
Yeah.
I mean, and what man would even want to come to me with, with his heart? And probably men did. And I wanted to connect with a man's heart. And I just, I was so needy, controlling,
Insecure.
insecure.
A lot of big personas come from insecurity.
Whoa. I don't go back there a lot as I'm talking about her. I'm like, whoa, that was not pretty. And I was desperate for connection, dying inside for love and connection. And I couldn't create it. Yeah. And, and my neediness and my insecurity and my false bravado and, all of that was just so in my way.
I know in your course you have something called the Final Five.
Yeah.
And what that is, just briefly, is doing a relationship inventory and seeing some of the qualities, both the good and the disturbing qualities, and seeing what those disturbing qualities, which ones are repeating, and what one would have to change in oneself to attract a man who has the opposite. Like if a woman has been attracting men who are financially unstable, financially dependent on them again and again and again, what is it in, first recognize that, and then what is it in themselves that needs to change to attract something different? If a man is not emotionally available in all of these, or, what is it in ourselves that we would need to change to attract a different type of partner?
Yeah. Yep. Oh, it's so crazy how we have these blinders on and we don't see ourselves. Like when I look back on who I was and when I did a lot of this, all I wanted was a man in my life. But there was no room for a man in my life.
Yeah.
And that's what we're talking about. Look, I have a fabulous career. I love what I do, but it doesn't eclipse, it's not who I am. It doesn't get in the way of us. In fact, it's a part of us.
Yeah. I have a very full life as well.
Yes, you do.
And I think what distinguishes us is that we make the relationship the top priority. And by making the relationship the top priority, it helps our careers.
Right.
We feel more secure in life. We feel supported. We feel that there's someone who's got our backs. That's our greatest supporter. And, so it doesn't, making the relationship our top priority, which we do, adds to everything else.
It does.
Yeah.
And making the a lot of people think making the relationship the top priority means sacrifice or, whatever. And for us, it's like, that's the first thing, because everything else springs out of that.
Yeah.
And it's beautiful for us to create a relationship.
Yeah.
I mean, we love I have to say, like, the co-creation of our relationship is the best part of life. Yeah. And you're right, everything else springs out of that. Your career, my career, this, where we overlap, everything. We're very, very, very fortunate.
Yeah.
I mean, this is a miracle to live this kind of relationship.
Yeah.
It's a dream. like 20 years of heaven on earth.
Yeah.
Yeah. You are so cute.
But it has been.
I know.
It has been. When we make it our first priority, little things seem to fall away.
Mm-hmm.
Even disagreements, we can't remember what they were. But if we make other things, if we put other things higher up, then there could be more friction, more disappointment. So by making our relationship the highest priority in our lives, and getting the greatest satisfaction of that, it's just, as you say, heaven on earth.
We're masters of co-creation.
Mm-hmm.
That's what we've done, babe. I never thought about that.
Yeah. And co-creation is blending our lives together.
It's blending our lives together,
Yeah.
making room.
Uh-huh.
It's seamless.
Yeah. And co-creation is creating something new,
That works for both of you.
Yeah. Creating-
It's not what we have or what anyone else
Yeah.
has, but it's your dance of relationship.
On a physical level, when a year after we met, I said, go find us a house, because I didn't want you to move into my space, because at the time it was, during the day, the house turned into my office. I had a secretary working in one of the bedrooms, and I turned into an office, and I couldn't fit into your apartment. So
That was not going to happen.
So when we found a house, we put almost all of our furniture on the front lawn,
Right.
and practically gave it away. You don't make much on a lawn sale.
No, I had some pretty cool stuff.
Yeah, as did I. But we wanted to start fresh and co-create, and design the house ourselves. So we picked out almost all the furniture new.
We did.
Yeah.
Everything. Yeah. Well, we kept a few things.
Yeah.
But no, it was so much fun.
Yeah.
I mean, that's all I wanted to do was create a life that was uniquely ours.
Mm-hmm.
And it's funny, both of us hold on to so little from the past. We don't carry a lot around with us. Not very, very little.
Yeah.
Which is funny.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because it's just stuff.
It's just stuff.
Oh my God. Well, we were going to talk about how to solve this. Do you want to do that quickly?
Yeah, absolutely.
Like little bit of a solution.
Well, the first step is really admitting that if you are a strong, independent, successful woman, you may not be making as much room for a man as you think you are. There are great men, and if you aren't meeting them, you need to ask yourself if your behavior might be pushing them away.
Mm-hmm.
So the only way to undo this behavior is to take an honest look at yourself and become aware of what you're doing.
Yeah. So that's the first step. You got to look at yourself and, admit if you are not meeting high quality men, something you're doing is pushing them away.
Right.
And pushing them away means not making space for them. Mm-hmm. You're pushing them out of your space, something you're doing. And then you have to start to see yourself more objectively, and you want to ask yourself the following questions. So these are just some questions that Benjamin and I came up this morning when we were talking. So you want to ask yourself, has more than one man commented that I'm intimidating?
Mm-hmm. Right.
Because I don't care who you are, you shouldn't be intimidating men. I mean, a man may be intimidated by you and you can't stop that. But if you're hearing over and over and over again from men that you're intimidating, that's not good.
Yeah. And he's not intimidated because of your success.
Yeah.
He's intimidated because I don't know how to blend my life with hers. I don't know. I can't picture how that's going to look.
Yeah, I can't picture us together.
Yeah.
Right? And if guys are doing that a lot, there's plenty of women who have fabulous careers and have sensational relationships, right? I'm just going to say, I think I'm one of those women. So, and I am with the man, there's nobody else I'd rather be with in this lifetime, in an eternity, right? So if you're not, if you're intimidating men, you got to look at that if you're hearing that over and over again and really ask yourself, what are these men trying to tell me? Because he could be a fabulous guy who has his life together, his whole act together, but he could find you intimate. He's not a guy who's he might not even be a guy who's easily intimidated.
Yeah. But if he just can't find a way to make something happen, that's intimidating, especially for a great guy.
Who's an achiever,
yeah.
Right? A guy who gets what he wants and is a go-getter.
Yeah, if he's running against, hitting a wall, that's intimidating, and he can't succeed.
Yep. And he's going to leave. So that's what they're trying to tell you. Something that you're doing is intimidating. It's not good. Stop doing it.
Right. And you have to ask yourself, are you being completely honest with yourself that you're willing to blend your life with a man, or do you simply want a man to join my life the way it is? So, so many of us have created a life that, is full and, it's exactly how we want it. And are we just looking for a man to step into our life, or are we willing to blend our lives together?
And then, I really want you to, do you tell yourself, I would be willing to blend my life with the right man, but you never seem to find the right man? So I really want you to hear that. Do you tell yourself, if I would, I would be willing to blend my life with the right man, but you never seem to find the right man. So pay attention to that, because there are good men out there. Here, that's the truth. There are great men. Great men. I know so many great men
who want relationship,
who are in relationships with some of our clients, and some of our dearest friends, are in relationships with wonderful men. They wouldn't be our friends if we didn't respect these men. So, they're out there, and if you're not connecting with them, you got to look at yourself and ask why, and stop saying to yourself, oh, it's because I'm 10 pounds overweight, or there are no good men, or, I'm too busy, or whatever lies you tell yourself. You've got to start to look at yourself and ask yourself, why am I not attracting or attracted to the good men? And it's probably, this is because you are afraid to make room for them in your life.
And part of that is the fear of letting go of control.
Yes. Huge part of it.
Yeah.
Yep. A lot of women who are CEOs and business women and boss ladies, they don't want to let go of that position. They like bossing people. That's what they do.
And again, we're not telling anyone to leave their job. But
no, don't leave your job.
But don't take it home with you.
Exactly.
Don't use it as a template for a relationship.
Well said, babe. So ask yourself these questions. Has more than one man commented that I am intimidating? If I'm being completely honest with myself, am I willing to blend my life with a man? Or do I simply want a man to join my life the way it is? And finally, do you tell yourself, I would be willing to blend my life with the right man, but you never seem to find the right man? If you say yes to even one of those questions, I would seriously look at opening up and creating more space for a man in your life, and looking at how your personality, your largesse, your ego, your self-image or self-importance might be getting in the way. And maybe You need to look inside and develop more compassion and stop thinking that you need to be a superstar to attract a superstar. All right, everybody. This has been wonderful. Yeah, that was great, baby. I'm Lisa Shield.
I'm Benjamin Shield.
And this has been Getting Inside the Right Male Mind. Please do me a favor. If you enjoyed this podcast, tell your friends, tell your brothers, your husbands, your sons, your daughters, your sisters, your girlfriends. Spread the word. I feel like we're talking about this subject in a way that nobody else is. And this is a message that people need to hear. So please, 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 let everybody know. And also go to wherever you rate and like your podcasts. Please rate and like this one. Also go to YouTube and rate or like my YouTube channel. I'm not sure what you do there. To be very honest, I get them all confused. And finally, send us your ideas. If you want us to talk about something, please send it to podcast@lisashield.com. And the last thing of all is if you want to work with Benjamin and me, look, we're not going to be here forever. You got to get us while you can. So if you want to work with us and you want to get this solved and you want to have a guardian of your soul relationship, then go to lisashield.com and click the button, watch my free 45-minute presentation. And if you feel like we might be the right coaches for you, then sign up for a breakthrough call and we will talk to you about how we can help give you the roadmap for finding the guardian of your soul. Thank you so much.
Thank you.